Hello, my name is Amy Sturkey. I'm a pediatric physical therapist. I'm here with Stacy Marks, and Stacy Marks has athetoid cerebral palsy, and she is someone that I remember from a long time ago when I was a very young therapist. She actually saw a different therapist than me, but she was very memorable, and I sought her out to be able to interview her. This is maybe our third or fourth video. And I wanted to go through equipment because I think equipment is really important. We've touched on some of them, but we've left some out. We've talked about a power wheelchair you had, but it sounds like before you had your power wheelchair, you had a manual wheelchair too?
Yes, that's correct.
How old were you when you got a manual wheelchair?
I'm not sure. I was about 3 years old, I'd say.
3 years old, and you didn't get the power wheelchair until you were older, so that was, if you could not sit independently well and safely, you would have needed to have something for you to be able to sit in to help you be more upright, to be able to reach and play and use your arms.
Yes, that's correct. I had supports that went around my torso. So that I wouldn't fall forward and fall out of my wheelchair.
That's smart. And did you have other pieces of equipment? Because sometimes people have bath chairs and feeder seats. And did you have other equipment in your home?
Yes, I did. We had something called a corner chair.
A corner chair is...
And I can remember that very vividly.
A corner chair is a chair that is just like it sounds. It's a seat, but behind it is a corner. That was for kids who tended to extend a lot. It would encourage you to not extend a lot. So it would help encourage you toward midline to be able to play. So you had one of those. Did you like that corner chair?
Yes, and mine had a tray attached as well.
Right.
I remember that.
K Products made those. I haven't recommended a corner chair in forever. I don't think they use those much anymore now.
She said, and it had wheels so that my mom could push the chair around.
Yeah, that one does. And did you have a stander?
Yes, I did.
And standing is recommended. Standers are recommended again for any kid who's not walking by 2 years of age. They recommend.
I had one of those at 18 months.
At 18, wow, you were on the money. It's really important.
It's like I can't even remember.
To get weight bearing through your legs, to be able to help encourage the hips to form correctly. So standers are recommended really early. And it helps develop your leg muscles and discourage constipation and all sorts, and keeps the bone density of your legs up high. So that's great that you have a stander earlier. It sounds like you had an amazing PT. Was there other equipment? Did you have like a bath chair or a chair that you would be fed in, or?
So I had some AFOs that we would use on my legs.
Okay. And I remember Sherry used to make those. So did you have ones that were solid, or did you have ones with a joint? Did you have them that went up high? Were they down low? Do you remember them?
So mine had a joint.
Uh-huh.
But they were very old-fashioned sorts. I have new ones nowadays.
Yeah. Well, Sherry, in those days, Sherry would actually take the plastic and mold them specifically to your feet. And usually now people use Orthotics to have the orthotics made. And did you ever have orthoses for your hands?
No, I never had any.
Okay. So you had the orthotics for your feet to help you stand and walk better?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, and we talked a little bit about communication devices. Can you go through what your memories were of, because you use signs mostly, and I imagine typing things were tricky for your hands originally, but do you remember kind of the progression of what communication devices you had?
Yes. So when I was 15, it was my first time getting a communication device. and I had something called a Lightwriter.
Uh-huh.
And I absolutely loved that device.
Tell me about the Lightwriter. I don't know that one.
So it enabled me to communicate with people.
So how did it do that?
So when you would type, there was a screen, and it would voice what you typed to the person sitting on the screen opposite of you. So the other person had a screen on their side as well as a keyboard, and they could type back. So you could type back and forth and read the conversation as you went along, or hear what the other person had typed.
Okay, so I'm old school, so I remember a game called Battleship, in which there was a screen between us and we had battleships, and there was something on my side. So it was a screen facing toward you, a screen facing toward them. They would type, and it would, on your side, it wrote out what you were saying, but when you typed, it would say it so the other person could hear it?
Yes, that's absolutely correct.
And so...
And I loved that machine.
And who did, because it sounds like most people in your family could speak. Who did that open you up to be able to talk to? I mean, could sign. Yes.
So my mother could sign, and my grandparents could also sign, as well as some of my uncles and my aunts. And I had some hearing friends who could sign as well. But a lot of my friends couldn't sign well, so I would type with them or write on paper.
How wonderful. So it kind of freed up your world to be able to communicate. Because, again, they might know some signs, but not, the world is not 20 signs. So it freed you up to be able to talk about anything in the world that you wanted.
Yes.
That sounds wonderful. And then, or is that what you use now, or have you moved on from that? How did the progression go?
So today, I tend to use an app, a text-to-speech. I'm trying to recall the name. The voice-to-speech app, I can't recall.
We can say it on another video in the future. It's okay. So now if you're out in public, you can type on, you use an iPad now, or do you use a phone? What do you use?
Yeah, I use an iPad.
Okay. And why don't you use a phone?
So, sorry, just clarifying something.
Yes.
So an iPad is actually easier for me to operate with my hands since it's a larger surface.
That makes sense.
And it allows me to communicate and text with people over Wi-Fi. And I can't really use an iPhone because it's a little bit too small for my hands to operate.
Right, that makes sense. I was really delighted when I was put in contact with you and I was texting you, just the complexity of the texting that you could do back to me. I thought that was just so cool and made me even more want to be able to interview you. So that's just a wonderful thing, because I know probably 20 signs, and I just think it's just a wonderful way to be able to open up the world and people to you. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I cannot believe that we are being told that we have 1 minute left. I don't know how the time someone is taking the clock and pushing it, because it's going way too fast. I know that this is probably tedious information for you to go through, but it is really interesting to me, and I think it will be to other people as they listen to your story. And I get feedback from these kinds of videos of people wanting to learn from experience of other people so that they can make changes in their daily routine to help their child. So thank you so much for sharing your life and your experiences. If you liked this video and would like to be notified by email when the next video comes out, click the subscribe button here and click the golden bell icon and ensure notifications are enabled on your account.